I woke up at exactly 3 a.m. because someone was knocking on my door. It wasn't the frantic pounding of an emergency or the polite tap of a late-night visitor. It was slow, deliberate, 3 heavy thuds that echoed through the dead silence of my house, each one perfectly spaced. Thud, pause, thud, pause, thud. My heart hammered against my ribs. 3 a.m., the so-called witching hour. I never believed in any of that, but in the suffocating darkness, rationality felt a million miles away. I held my breath, listening. Silence. Had I imagined it? A dream? Maybe. Then it came again. Thud, thud, thud. Louder this time, more insistent. It vibrated through the floorboards, a physical presence in the house. I slid out of bed, my feet hitting the cold hardwood. Every nerve was screaming. The house was pitch black, the kind of deep, oppressive dark you only get in the dead of night, far from city lights. The knocking continued, a steady, unnatural rhythm that felt like a countdown. I crept to my office and pulled up the feed from the security camera ID installed last month. It pointed directly at my front door, the night vision casting the porch in an eerie green glow. My screen was empty, absolutely nothing, just the wind rustling the leaves of the old oak tree in my yard. But the knocking didn't stop. Thud, thud, thud. How could that be? I was hearing it, feeling it, but the camera showed an empty porch. I rewound the footage, played it back. Nothing, just an empty, silent porch, while the sound of knocking echoed in my ears. A cold dread, colder than the floorboards, seeped into my bones. The sound was real. I wasn't crazy. The knocking stopped. The sudden silence was somehow worse. I stood frozen, staring at the monitor, my ears straining, and then I heard it. A floorboard creaked upstairs, where I had just been. It wasn't me. I was standing completely still in my downstairs office. My blood ran cold. Was someone in the house? I grabbed the heaviest thing I could find, a thick glass paperweight, and crept out of the office. The living room was a cavern of shifting shadows. My eyes darted everywhere, trying to pierce the darkness. That's when I saw it. The handle on the front door. It was turning, slowly, down, 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 with a faint metallic groan. My breath hitched in my throat. I was paralyzed, watching the handle reach its lowest point. The latch clicked. The door remained shut. The handle, just as slowly, began to rise back to its original position. I backed away, my hand shaking so badly the paperweight felt like it weighed a ton. I retreated to the office, my only sanctuary, and slammed the door, locking it. My eyes shot back to the security monitor. The screen was filled with static, a hissing, swirling vortex of black and white. It had been working perfectly just a minute ago. The static cleared for a second, and in that split second, I saw it. A flicker, a distortion in the air, right in front of my door. A tall, thin shadow, darker than the night around it. It was there, and then it was gone, replaced by the image of my empty porch. My heart was a drum solo in the silent room. It was real. There was something out there, and it was trying to get in. Then, the whispering started. It was faint, like the sibilant hiss of a snake, coming from right behind me. I spun around, paperweight raised. The room was empty, but the feeling of being watched was overwhelming, a physical pressure on my skin. The whisper came again, a cold breath against my ear. The words indistinct but filled with a chilling malice. I didn't want to, but I had to look at the camera again. I had to know. I turned back to the monitor, my hand trembling as I used the mouse to review the last few minutes of footage. I scrubbed back to the moment the static cleared. I played it frame by frame. There, for a single, solitary frame. The shadow was there. It wasn't just a shadow, it was a figure, tall, impossibly thin, with limbs that seemed too long, its form contorting the space around it. It was standing right at my door, its head tilted at an unnatural angle. Then came the sound that shattered my last sliver of sanity. Thud, thud, thud. It wasn't coming from the front door anymore. It was coming from the other side of my office door. It was inside the house with me. The handle of the office door began to jiggle violently. The wood shuddered in its frame. I scrambled back, tripping over my chair, and landed hard on the floor. The whispering was all around me now, a chorus of venomous secrets I couldn't understand. The knocking stopped. Silence, a heavy, final silence that felt like the world holding its breath. I stayed on the floor, huddled against the far wall, for what felt like an eternity. Nothing, no sound, no movement. Slowly, shakily, I got to my feet. The paranoia was a living thing, a creature perched on my shoulder. Was it gone? Was it waiting? I had to know. Against every instinct screaming at me to stay put, I walked to the office door. My hand hovered over the lock. I took a deep breath and unlocked it. I pulled the door open. The hallway was empty. I crept out, my senses on fire. I made my way to the front door, the source of this whole nightmare. It was closed, locked, just as it should be. With a surge of desperate courage, I unlocked it. I swung the door open. Nothing. The porch was empty. The street was silent. The cool night air felt like a blessing on my face. It was over. It had to be. A wave of relief so powerful, it made me dizzy, washed over me. I let out a shaky laugh. It was all in my head. A nightmare. A vivid, terrifying nightmare. I turned around, a smile of pure relief on my face, ready to go back inside and forget this ever happened. And then I saw it. My security camera monitor, visible from the open front door. The last thing I saw on the monitor before the feed cut to black was its head slowly turning, and its eyes, 2 points of impossible darkness, staring directly at me.